Hello, and welcome to another edition of Litter Media Live on this November 14th, 2024. And you said it's Craig Reichert's birthday?
I think that's right.
You think that's right?
He and Bruce Justice, myself, there was like Kevin Roll, there was like 4 or 5 people in our class were born in November. Ronnie Grigsby. My cousin Scott's is the day after mine, and my cousin Becky's is the day before. Mm-hmm. Or either that or Becky's is on my birthday. See, there's so many people that are around my birthday, I can't remember them all. That's why I have a hard time getting them cards.
Can you remember yours?
November 20th.
Okay.
Yeah. And Laura's is the month to the day later.
So next Wednesday, we will see what we can do about
baking you a cake.
Yes.
I'd like to have some of that.
We'll have Aaron bring in a cake that he has baked for you.
Weren't you talking about starting a cooking show? This will be your opportunity to do it.
Was I talking about that? Did I say anything about that?
What would we call it? Aaron behind the stove.
Aaron's errors.
What not to do when baking a cake. Yeah. That'd be my story, yeah.
Yeah. And he would have Trip Arledge's proverbial egg on his face. Mm-hmm. So, welcome to the program. It is time to share with you not only news that you can benefit from, we call it beneficial news you can use, and sports. Will educate you on this date in history and how the weather is. Let's look at the forecast for you.
Yes, sir. We had an inch of rain at our house overnight. An inch.
We had an inch and a half.
I was surprised that we got that much.
I didn't empty the rain gauge from last Saturday evening to Sunday mornings. I was surprised there was an inch and a half of rain that we had then, and we had another inch and a half last night. So it's still bursting at the seams at 3 inches of rain.
It was coming down, but I think that we're going to see an end to these showers probably during the mid part of today. It'll pick back up this afternoon into the early evening hours, and then rain ending completely by Friday. Cloudy skies Friday through the weekend. Your high temperatures will remain in the low to mid-60s, and nighttime lows maybe not quite as cold as what we've seen earlier this week, low 40s.
Can still handle that. I think we'll be good.
You know, we're getting not too far. If you have a rain gauge, we're not getting that far away. You probably want to bring it in for the season, because I have broken a number of them by not taking the water was out and it freezes and then it breaks.
It doesn't have to be freezing for a rain gauge to break at my house, because over the years, Frisbees, pets, and, whenever you have a teenager in the house, you go through rain gauges.
Yeah.
Even though you have that teenager in the house, they go outside every once in a while.
Yes.
Throwing gravel with the lawnmower and everything else. Coming up, we'll look at news. But first, let's tell you about Scioto Valley Dumpsters. 740-253-8389 is the number to call to get a dumpster for your personal needs or your business needs. They can handle all that. 740-253-8389.
As a basketball coach and a dad, I need to be able to keep up.
Mark came to the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute in severe arm pain from a degenerative disc.
I was so confident in Dr. Fleming, he explained everything.
Together, they decided on minimally invasive spinal surgery to relieve Mark's pain and get him back to what matters most. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Intermedia Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Intermedia Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And we'll be doing that later today in our Litter Media Game of the Week preview show, which is coming your way at 12 o'clock noon today. LitterMedia.com is where you can go to find some of the things we're going to share with you here today. So if you've already started your day by looking at LitterMedia.com, it's going to be a review. This is your opportunity to say, hey, you know what, I've read it. Now I'm going to listen to Dan and Mike talk about it.
Or at least some of it. Floor BWXT recently celebrated Veterans Day with a special presentation during this year's luncheon, with a donation of over $37,000 to the Veterans Care Network to help vets in Southern Ohio through the charity's food bank. The donation will come close to providing a year's worth of meals for veterans in Southern Ohio. The donation will help provide about 35,000 meals. The group provides about 40,000 a year to 220 people in the region. We salute those who help our veterans.
Mm-hmm. Uptown Circleville getting ready for a cookie walk, and that kicks off the holiday season. The cookie walk is Saturday, November 23rd, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., sponsored by Paula Rout of Roof Mortgage. The festive event promises a delightful blend of holiday treats, local shopping, and an opportunity to support small businesses in Circleville. Tickets are $10 per person and must be purchased in advance, pre-sale only, through Eventbrite or Uptown Circleville's website at uptowncircleville.org.
You ever been to a cookie walk?
Yeah, we had one. Chillicothe High School had one at one point in time.
Kind of a neat thing if you like cookies.
Yeah.
My college had one, and all the dorms had different cookies.
And you had to bake your own cookies, right?
No, I think the RAs did,
Okay,
and I was not an RA.
gotcha.
They didn't slip anything into those cookies, did they?
No, it was a
college.
Christian university, Dave.
I've heard some of those.
That doesn't mean anything.
My brothers told me some stories about some
You
of
would think it would be a low percentage of
Yeah,
happening,
really.
but
Yeah,
God knows.
absolutely. With 2024 consumer spending expected to reach a new record this holiday season, the Ohio Department of Commerce Division of Financial Institutions has unveiled a free holiday gift budgeting guide to help Ohioans successfully navigate the upcoming season with fiscal responsibility in mind.
I see the sneering snitty.
That's why I had you say that last week. According to the National Retail Federation, consumer spending during the upcoming winter holiday is expected to reach $902 per person on average, which takes into account items such as gifts, food, and decorations. And that would represent about a $25 increase from last year.
So for those of you that last week heard us talking about this for the Historical Society, bring that photo back up, please.
Mr. Producer, wake up.
And he's working on his fantasy football league over
I
here.
see.
The paper that you see there that are cut ornaments, that is the Sharon Schnitty.
Whatever you say.
That's what it looks like.
I thought that was a type of tree.
All I can tell you is that's the ornaments.
Yeah. Maybe it's
So the Scherenschnitty is the ornaments, not the tree.
Correct.
I thought it was a tree.
I'm
this
staying
whole
away
time.
from that name altogether, folks. Altogether, I'm staying away from it.
Coming up Saturday, it's going to be the Knights of Columbus Council number 15793 hosting a drive-through food distribution, 10 a.m. till noon, right behind this church here. That is St. Peter's Church on the corner of Church and Water Streets. Ross County residents in need of food are invited to enter the parking lot by using the Church Street entrance and exit onto Water Street. Additionally, diapers will be available while supplies last. Distribution is scheduled to begin at 10 a.m., and they ask that you please do not arrive early and block access to the church or Church Street. Because for those people that show up late, like me, as a worker, they need to get in there. So they need a place to park and get ready to be able to distribute.
And apparently that happens frequently, or they wouldn't keep putting that in there.
Yeah.
Remind people, don't show up.
Well, I know J216 with their food distribution. I have seen photos of people backed up all the way out on the U.S. Route 50 and everything. So I'm sure that's even more congested right downtown.
Yeah. I know Another Chance Ministry were doing, and I don't know if they're still doing that or not. And yeah, it was amazing, the traffic around the block all the way out on the street. And that's a narrow street down by the old Zion Church anyway. So it just makes it difficult for through traffic there. So
there's some beneficial news you can use this morning, and we've got sports on the way next. Haynes Total Healthcare Center. You'll find them at One Health Drive. That is off of Marietta Road here in Chillicothe. And they handle the chiropractic needs, physical therapy needs, nutritional needs. They've been doing that since 1974 here in Chillicothe. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and it takes you to their website, HaynesHealth.com. Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good.
Our financial lives have never been more complex, and some decisions just can't wait, which is why our K&B Mobility app gives you instant access to the financial tools you need wherever you are. Get a clear picture of all of your accounts, check your daily transactions, receive account alerts, and much more. So no matter where you are or what you are doing, you can make the best decisions for you and your financial goals. Download our Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Time for sports, and we start with our Litter Media Game of the Week, which is Massillon, Washington, and Tays Valley. Duking it out in Zanesville. Pretty nice facility to have at Zanesville.
been over there a number of times throughout the years, broadcasting playoff games. You probably were there for a regular season game.
Right. When Zanesville and Chillicothe were in the Southeast Ohio Athletic League together, we made a couple of trips up to Zanesville, and we've been there for the playoffs as well. When Paint Valley was there playing Shady Side a few years ago, you and BJ were doing the broadcast on WKKJ back then, and I was there to capture highlights and to put together a video, which is still available on our YouTube channel for those of you that want to see that game from, what was that, 6 years ago, 7 years ago?
Somewhere around
thereabouts.
I've never been in the visiting press box. I don't know if that's where we'll be or not. Probably chance of that. So
yeah, we won't find out until you get there at the check-in at the weight room.
Wasn't it
Nathan Seacats?
Yes, he was up there to greet us the last time we were up there. So is he still the assistant
I believe so.
AD? Yeah.
Well,
Scott Aronoff is.
I don't know that he's the assistant AD, but I know he still teaches at Zanesville.
Gotcha.
So.
All Ohio soccer teams were announced yesterday by the High School Soccer Coaches Association. Unlike a lot of All Ohio teams, they apparently no longer designate in soccer first team, second team, third team. If you're on the list, it's all the same, All Ohio. In our area, Chillicothe's Carter Dunphy and Isaac Herlihy were on the team. Zane Trace's Yvonne Chavez. Also, Lynchburg Clay's Isaac Iyer. Braden West, and I believe it's his dad, Landon West, was named the Assistant Coach of the Year for the boys. On the girls' side, all Ohioans include Brooklyn Herbert of Tays Valley, Kiara Archer of Chillicothe, Sydney Carpenter of Jackson, Vivian Henniger of Fairfield, that's Leesburg, and Olivia Van Fleet of Lynchburg Clay. There are other area athletes like South Webster, Wheelersburg, and so forth. They're all listed in our website story at littermedia.com.
The Wednesday night football for the Mid-American Conference continues, and last night it was a 35-10 win for the Bobcats of Ohio. They were hosting Eastern Michigan yesterday over at Peden Stadium. They are now 7-3, 5-1 in the conference, and I believe they're tied with Miami, if I'm not mistaken, in their division. So,
and Miami was their only league loss. I wonder who beat Miami.
Good question. They will take on Toledo next week on your birthday, Mike Smith.
What's the Wednesday? I mean, that's 3 Wednesdays in a row.
Yeah. That's that ESPN TV package thing.
But you would think that the same team wouldn't get that deal.
The whole conference plays on Wednesday.
Well, that's stupid. What happened to just featuring one game on a given night?
That's what I said back on last week when we were talking about it. You look at the video, and there's nobody in the stands.
Right.
And it looked to me last night like there might have been maybe 600 to 1,000 people there. And I do know that Doug Lowe was there. Doug is a listener and viewer of this program, and he and his son were there. He had a photo of them, a little selfie that they showed.
Gotcha.
So...
Well, apparently ESPN's throwing out the big bucks.
They're throwing out money.
They're losing money if that's not the case.
It's Disney money.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of money, the Cleveland Cavaliers have been money this year, folks. They are now 13-0. They were a winner over the Philadelphia 76ers last night, 114-106. Now, this makes them only the 6th NBA team in history to hit the 13-0 start. But remember, as we told you a couple of days ago, Golden State has the all-time record, 24-0 to start the season.
And it's going to be a new story every time that they play. And that's just because sportscasters like to say they're now 14-0, as if the next time they play and they lose, so they can say, see, they couldn't make it to the big stretch.
13-0 is a pretty great start.
That is a pretty good
I
start.
think a lot of professional franchises would like to have that kind of a start.
Yeah,
So.
and they beat Chicago the game before, I believe. They host Chicago tomorrow night up in Cleveland. I've never been to an NBA game. Have you?
I don't believe I take that back. I went to an NBA exhibition game at St. John Arena one time.
Okay.
I think the Celtics were maybe playing Cleveland that night, so that's been a long time ago.
Yeah, I've never been to one. I've been to pro football games, been to college football games, but never been to a pro basketball game.
Yeah. You ever been to Spain? Well, I've never.
Isn't there I was thinking there was a village named Spain or something like that I'd been to. But I can't remember where it was. I think it was in Kentucky, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
3 Dog Night. I've never been to Spain.
Yes. It's like I've never been to Frankfort, Kentucky, but I've been to Frankfort, Ohio.
Yeah. Or Frankfort, Germany.
Never been to Oakland, California, but I've been to Oakland, Ohio.
Been through there quite a few times. In fact, I might be going through there tomorrow night.
That's
on my
right.
way to Route 37.
Yeah, you're doing Zanesville. I'm headed to Heath.
Which is like 35 miles west of where we'll be.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like over and up. You got to go up.
Yeah, what is it, like 10 miles north of 70?
Right.
Something like that. So we'll have Scott Tomlinson. He is the head coach of the Eastern Eagles on our Litter Media Game of the Week preview show coming up at noon today. And he was excited because he was there for a track meet last year at Heath High School. His son Brewer was a thrower on the Eastern track team. And he says, I like their colors because they, too, are brown and orange.
How about that?
Just like Eastern.
It's like a home game.
He's hoping that the Eagle fans will be happy with that. Guess they've got another big pep rally tonight that'll be taking place down in Beaver. And he said they're shutting down the street and everything.
Wow.
And
big stuff.
I don't know how many streets there are in Beaver. I'm not positive. It might be the only one.
But this is a first for them. They only went they went 2 weeks deep last week or last year. This will be 3 going in. So
good luck to the Eastern Eagles. All right, coming up this date in history, we go to the literary side, right?
Yes, sir. 1851. Talking about a big whale. A lot of thoughts came to my mind right there. Custom tank colors and wraps. Find out how a propane tank can be beautiful at litterpropane.com.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Now that's one fast mower. Take command of your lawn with Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower.
818 Eastern Avenue in Chillicothe, hometown-motors.com. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. 45 years they've been serving our community. We can congratulate them and salute them. The conversation that you had with them last week, Mike Smith, is on our YouTube channel. And you can click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and it takes you to their website, which is accuratehvac.com, to learn more about their services. This date in history.
1851, Moby Dick is now considered a great classic of American literature and contains one of the most famous opening lines in fiction, "Call me Ishmael." Initially, though, the book about Captain Ahab and his quest to catch a giant white whale was a flop. In 1846, he published his first novel called Typee, a romantic adventure based on his experiences in Polynesia. The book was a success, and a sequel was published in 1847. 3 more novels followed, and mixed critical and commercial results followed. Melville's 6th book, Moby Dick, was first published in October 1851 in London in 3 volumes titled The Whale, and then in the U.S. a month later. Melville has promised his publisher an adventure story similar to his popular earlier works, but instead, Moby Dick was a tragic epic, influenced in part by Melville's friend and Pittsfield, Massachusetts neighbor, Nathaniel Hawthorne. Does that ring a bell?
Scarlet Letter?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But to think of it, a literary classic at first was a flop. Mm-hmm. A lot of movies started out that way. Wizard of Oz, it was not well received in the theaters, but thanks to a lot of reruns on TV, It's a Wonderful Life, that's another one. Now, all-time classics.
You just named 2 movies that I don't like very much.
Well, and that shows how...
He'll like Wicked. I have a feeling.
I have no plans on seeing Wicked.
Yeah, you'll probably.
Yeah.
Your bride-to-be will probably.
What did they say? Youth is wasted on the wrong people.
Blade Runner was a flop when it first came out.
As it should have been.
That movie's great. That movie's great.
Still should be a flop, yeah.
I saw it when it came out. I think I watched part of it, and that was it for me.
That movie's amazing.
I've told you how the only Dirty Harry movie I ever saw, how that came about.
I don't think so.
Of course, for those of you watching this program in other jurisdictions, at that time, I think it was in the 70s, late 70s, Chillicothe had 3 movie theaters. There was the Majestic, there was the Adena, and there was the Central Center Cinema. Mm-hmm. I thought I was going to see the Pink Panther. And I'm sitting at the Majestic waiting, and you know how sometimes movies will start with a scene before they ever come in with the credits. And these people are getting shot, and I'm thinking, okay, this doesn't seem funny.
When does Clouseau come in to save the day?
Yeah. And it was, somehow I got the message wrong. I sat down, I was by myself. It was Magnum Force, not the Pink Panther. I think it was shown over at the Central Center Cinema, so... I eventually did get to see that movie, but that's the only Dirty Harry movie I think I've ever seen.
I still have in the back of my mind, thanks to Chip Arledge and the morning birthday deal that he used to do, Fat Man and Birthday Investigator, he would play a line from Dirty Harry. Do you feel lucky, kid?
Oh, yeah.
Well, do you?
I think it was out of that movie, too. So, but I think he repeated that line in almost all of those movies.
Yeah. And there was... Go ahead, make my day. Mm-hmm. I think was another line from the movies.
Yeah.
So
Magnum Force.
Yeah. I think I saw all of those movies. A movie that I watched here not long ago that I had seen before, and I still remember the movie, but when I watched it again, I watched it in today's take, as opposed to in 1971 when it was made, was The French Connection.
That's one I've not seen.
You've not seen The French Connection?
I know the storyline, and it just looks too depressing to me.
Well, and seeing Gene Hackman go in and rough a guy up, and you think to yourself, man, did they do it that way back then? And I believe they did, because I'm sure it was realistic.
Popeye, what was his name in the movie?
Can't remember.
Popeye, I can't think of the last name.
And the unbelievable car chase that takes place in The French Connection. It's like people can't really drive like this, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that on just previews of the movie.
Yeah.
You feel like you've watched, all of that. But, or Bullet, Steve McQueen,
right.
The jumping over the humps there in San Francisco street. So,
and every time they land that car, it ain't going to make it.
No.
But it's a movie.
Yeah. Not like real life.
I can't tell you how many times Missy and I will sit.
Not like real life in Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll be sitting there and we'll be watching a movie, and she's like, now, how did they figure that out? Oh. Or how did that happen? I said,
it's just a movie.
It's a movie. And what's crazy is when she turns it right back on me.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, now who would think of that? And she would, Dan.
You were asking that throughout the entire Wizard of Oz, weren't you? How'd those monkeys really fly?
This is your wife who loves professional wrestling that's saying this?
Precisely.
That's true. That's true. How did they do that?
And NASCAR. Yeah. So, yeah, I praise my wife for this. Not only this, but for this. That I have not had to sit through chick flicks or take her to those movies at all. And because she is an action movie, professional wrestling, NASCAR fan.
Now, there are some movies that are considered chick flicks that are actually pretty good, pretty funny. Hitch was one. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was good.
Kevin James, though, I thought he stole that movie.
Yeah.
Titanic is great. I love Titanic.
He just liked the artistry scene where
I was
she's posing for the art.
It was great artwork. Oh, golly. Yeah.
Suddenly I'm thinking there's a correlation between the title of that movie and what you saw.
Yeah, really.
We need to wrap this up.
All those Academy Awards, Dan. Look at that. Yeah.
Precisely.
11 of them, yeah.
Was her name Rose? Is that what the name was? Okay. Yeah.
Maybe we should have asked Aaron. We have another program coming up here.
We do. We must prepare for that program. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. We're back at it again with another edition of Litter Media Live tomorrow at 11 o'clock or thereabouts, because when I'm not here, the boys like to get started.
We got to go, because I got to go home and come back to go to Zanesville.
So why don't we just start saying that the
somewhere around there
Friday show starts at 10 o'clock.
Well, not that early.
I see.
10:50.
Somewhere between 10 and 11, I've seen that it appears. All right. At any rate, back with it again tomorrow, but we'll have the Litter Media Game of the Week preview show coming your way next at noon today.